everybody, it's Mahadeva, and I'm going to talk to you very briefly about, once again, how big tech and corporations really are about trying to steal your individuality. But before we do that, I'm going to show you my new backyard that I'm going to have for the next couple of months. That right there is the Matanzas River. And so there's a big river over there, and then in the opposite direction, if you go far enough, you hit the beach. So, this is technically still, I'm giving you my update on my travel, but to make it more worthwhile, to make it more, what's the word I want to use here? To make it more pertinent. That's my taquitos. You have to follow me over there while I put my taquitos into the oven, and then I'll tell you my experience with big tech today and how I became the angry old man who doesn't understand how things work. Let's see. So this is 11 minutes. Okay. Do I need to? No, I'm okay. I'm going to shove that in there for 11 minutes. And I'm going to remember to not try and take it out with my bare hands. And kitchen timer. Is that right? 11 minutes? Let's hope that's right. Okay, so as you know, I've been in Australia for 2.5 years, and I had an old Apple 5S from, I guess it was 8 years ago, but I think I bought it 6 years ago. So for me, it's about a 6-year-old phone, which isn't that, to me, that isn't that long. Works just fine, but I got here and I tried to use the maps, the Google Maps app, and it didn't work even though I had service. Didn't understand that. Took it to Walmart, said, hey, can you guys help me out? Took them about an hour and a half to figure out that my phone was too old and I couldn't just simply put a SIM card in there and make it work. So just to get out of there, they tried to give me, hey, we'll give you a new iPhone, blah, blah, blah. What's your address? And I'm like, well, I don't have an address. Let me give you one of my old ones. And that didn't work through. They wanted my social security number and all that, obviously, because they were going to, in this deal, they were going to, credit me, whatever. They were going to loan me the money that I would have to pay off every month in the phone service. So they rejected that. I told you my frustrations with that. So I had to buy some crappy Android thing and get a month's service just so that I had Google Maps. Can you believe it? I mean, there was a time when you could literally take a map and just look at it, but there was no place for me to get maps. I have to use the phone. And you don't realize it, that they're forcing you to use the cloud. They're forcing you to constantly be connected to the cloud. So anyway, so I've got my old iPhone, which I'm using for all of my other stuff. I just can't use it for, to navigate wherever I want to go. So I'm using this crappy, cheap Android phone, which, by the way, I hate the interface of that. And I'm having to use that to use my maps just to get around. So, I was all still jet lagged out. So after getting a good night's sleep last night, if you can call it that, I get up this morning to go look at the surf. And I was very surprised to see the good conditions. And even though the waves were really small, they were just a little too small to surf, even though there were some guys out there trying to surf. The beaches actually looked really amazing, and I could tell that if the waves were any bigger, that with a decent sized swell would be a lot of fun. So I'm actually now excited to try and surf this place. I wish the waves were a little bigger. I wish they weren't so tiny. That's okay. I bought big, uh, my big mini longboard, which I can use. So I'm excited about that. I still don't know, how long am I going to stay here? I'm here for the next couple of months. I just want a phone that I can use, right? So I walk into AT&T, and T, and it would surprise me that there's this line. You go in to get a phone, there's a line, and you have to sit and wait to get a phone. It's just like, why do I have to wait so long? So I left there, and then I went to T-Mobile, and I walked in there and I told them my thing, and they said, well, we'll try and get it to work. So as the guy's opening my phone up and putting in the SIM card, he's saying, I can't guarantee it'll work. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't guarantee it'll work? I mean, does that mean I walk out of here and it doesn't work? He says, no, we'll find out. He says, but the service will cost you $50 and that's non-refundable. And I'm thinking, well, okay, so if it doesn't work, they'll take that $50 and apply it towards whatever phone I get from them. I'm thinking I'm with somebody that has the power to do something to help me to get out of there. So he says, okay, but it's $50 and it's non-refundable and just letting you know. And I'm like, okay, we'll do whatever. I just want to get a phone. If I have to get a new iPhone, I have to get a new iPhone. So be it. So sure enough, he finds out the same thing that the other guys found out, which is that my phone is too old and it won't work, as it turns out. No, I didn't know it at the time, but as it turns out, it won't work with the 4G and 5G because it's an old 3G phone. So this guy tells me, yeah, it can't work. You have to get a phone. And I said, well, can you give me one? So, well, as I told you, I can give you that phone, but then you have to buy a whole nother service. I said, I just bought a month of service. He said, I know, I can't use that on that phone. And I'm like, so I just threw away $50. And he's like, yeah. And I said, so apply it towards something. He said, I can't do that. I told you that. And then the manager comes out and the manager says, that's not our policy. I said, what do you mean that's not your policy? If this was my business, my policy would be, you've just given me $50. I'm going to apply that. I'm going to make, and again, we come to the same conclusion that they don't have any power. They punch numbers, and the AI has to tell them what to do and what not to do. And they said, well, you can call customer service. And I said, why can't you call customer service? Well, because it's not our phone policy. It's yours. You bought it already. You already have that. I said, I just got it 5 minutes ago. Yeah, it's your problem now. So I was so upset. My brain was so scrambled that I'm dealing with a business and they're not able to sit down and fix the problem for me. Or, it's like I paid $50 for that guy at the phone store to figure out that an iPhone 5S won't work in the States right now. And that's me. I have to pay for that. So I left there in a huff and I went to Verizon, and the Verizon guy was nice enough to sit me down and explain, here's what you should do. You should go over here, which the other guy tried to explain to me, but it was just, you should go over here and get a used phone and then blah, blah, blah. So I went over there to the used phone thing. And so they're right now, they're migrating my data over to the new phone, which I then have to go back to the other place to get them to activate that on a different device. It's like, oh my God. But really, it's, this may seem trivial, and it may on the outside look like I'm just an old man now that I'm in Florida, and I'm of retirement age. Now that I'm this old man that lives in Florida, I just don't understand what's going on with the high technology. But what's really happening is that I'm actually old enough to see that what's happening is that we are slowly being uploaded. And this is just one, again, it looks like I'm being nitpicky, but what also bothers me is that there's no human involved here. That somebody in some office figured out a way to literally screw me out of money and put me in a position where I have to beg, please, instead of being able to do what you used to be able to do, which was when there was a problem, you said, let me talk to your manager. And the manager comes out and you say, here's the problem. I paid for the blah, blah, blah. And the manager says, hey, I'm going to go fix it. Thank you, Mr. Denny. Stay right here. I'm going to fix the problem for you. And on top of that, I'm going to give you this. And we now have a scenario where literally AI, is running everything. And when they say things like, that's not our policy, what they really mean is the computer won't let us do that. And the guy at Walmart actually said that. He said, that, well, I have to, the prompt on the computer tells me what to do, and I have to punch that. And I said, but you realize and they said, and we will mail you the reason why we couldn't give you. And I said, you realize you telling me that you're going to mail me why you rejected my application to get phone service from you. You realize that that doesn't solve my problem right now. The person says, I'm all about solving problems. And I wanted to say, well, you're not at the moment. But the truth is that there was nothing he could do. There's this separation between the human being and the actual literal AI that's been programmed, on the net, on the computer, to tell people what to do and what not to do. And the reaction, the people that that I left in a huff, they couldn't understand why I was so upset. Because they're younger, obviously, but we've been trained, and you are being trained to literally bend over and do whatever is necessary to get your hands on the tech. I need my phone, so I have to run across town and do that, and then I have to do this, and then I have to give you my social security number, and I have to tell me what I have to do to get my tech. As opposed to realizing the truth, which is I'm a customer, and I'm giving you my hard-earned money for a service or a product, or both in this case. And you're going to tell me that that I can't tell you what I want you to do in order to get my money's worth, that they literally gave me $50 worth of phone service and then said you can't use it. And if we give you a phone that'll work, you're going to have to eat that $50 because you're going to have to buy a different phone service from that. It's just, I'm telling you, man, it's not just getting it's everything. Big tech, big pharma, government is now a servant of big tech and big pharma. I'm telling you, this may sound trivial, but when you put it all together, what they want is to take away your individuality, turn you into drones. Just like they said, you will have, that's my food, you will have everything you need, you will rent, you will own nothing, and you will be happy. It means you're going to be a number. You're not going to be a person anymore. So, anyway, my food is yelling at me, so I have to eat and then I have to run to go get my tech. All right, I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves.